Okay, so we are beginning our online international education fair and the webinar is about to start. I can see we have about 100 students. I want to thank you for joining us today. I hope this is going to be a useful information when you're going to be attending. Till the end of the webinar, you will be able to learn about the scholarships, application fee waivers, the COVID-19 updates, and many more. So watch till the end and ask any question that you have. I hope it's going to be worth. Thanks.
Well, I'm presenting from Clarkson University, which is located in Potsdam, New York. There's just a photograph of me so that you have a sense of who's talking to you today. You can imagine my face when you hear my voice, I guess. So the green area on this map that I'm showing right now is New York State, and you can see how it's situated with other states in the US. The big yellow star is for Potsdam, New York. That's where the main campus of Clarkson University is located. We also have a branch campus in Schenectady, New York, which is in the capital region of New York State, near Albany. Both of those are well north of New York City. I know people may have safety concerns in the current situation with COVID-19, but we are well north of New York City, and the incidence of coronavirus is much, much lower here. And in fact, we're all quite safe, and New Yorkers are staying at home to stop the spread. So you might ask, why would I want to study at Clarkson University in New York State? And I thought I would share some of our best accolades here, indicating that we're a top tier national university as ranked by US News and World Report. There are several bullet points here about salaries and career opportunities. Our Clarkson graduates have a very high placement rate when they finish their bachelor's or graduate degrees, and the salaries that they earn are quite generous. So not only do you gain a lot of knowledge and factual information at Clarkson, but also your career opportunities are really fabulous. As you'll see, Clarkson is mainly a STEM university, and I'll start with the undergraduate degrees. This shows our undergraduate degrees in arts and sciences. I won't go through the whole list. You can see that we're a little bit heavier on the science with majors like biology and chemistry, computer science, and the like. We also have an Institute for Sustainable Environment, as well as a School of Business, which is AACSB accredited. There are several majors there at the undergraduate level, and perhaps we're best known for engineering, and you can see a very comprehensive list of engineering majors there on the right-hand side of the screen. In terms of admission at the undergraduate level, we accept the Common App, and we also have our own Clarkson application. There is no application fee for admission at the undergraduate level, and we are still accepting applications for fall on a space available basis. We would need your secondary school transcript, as well as mark sheets and any national exams that you have taken or regional exams, 2 letters of recommendation. If you have SAT or ACT, we would like those, but Clarkson has just become test optional. So if you want to apply based on your transcript and your letters of recommendation alone, along with your English proficiency test scores, that's perfectly fine. We accept 4 different English proficiency exams listed there. The common ones are TOEFL and IELTS. Less well-known are PTE and the Duolingo English test. Currently, the newest of those is Duolingo, and you can take that at home. You don't need to go to a testing center or have an appointment, so that's a very handy one at times like these where our mobility is limited due to the virus. In terms of deadlines, we typically would like to see applications much earlier than this, and those are the typical deadlines. But we are still reviewing applications, as I said, on a space available basis, and we are still offering merit-based aid. That slide is incorrect, I'm sorry. Merit-based aid for fall 2020. if you have taken AP exams or any other type of exams that might offer credit toward your bachelor's degree, you can earn up to 30 credits of the 120 credits needed to graduate by those types of exams. The cost of attendance for Clarkson is upwards of $49,000 a year, but we offer scholarships that range up to $35,000 or $40,000 a year, so we can get that number down to something that is much more reasonable for international students. And when you're completing the documentation for an I-20, the document you need to get a student visa, you can count the value of the scholarship toward the resources you have to meet your annual cost of attendance. As I said, all admitted students are considered for scholarships on the undergraduate level. On the low end, those scholarships would be $15,000, and they can range up toward $35,000 or maybe even a little higher. And these are renewed annually. You would get them for all 4 years of the bachelor's degree. There's a list of other scholarships that students can apply for. Those tend to have earlier deadlines, but if you're looking at fall 2021, you do have ample time to apply for scholarships. In terms of the student experience at Clarkson, I included this photograph of a student on a snowmobile because I wanted to let you know that we really do have all 4 seasons, including winter at Clarkson, but it can be exciting to experience all the different types of climates. We have many different sports on both the men's and women's side. That includes ice hockey, which many of you may not be that interested in, but we also have a wide range of music and theater clubs and sports clubs, and those can be very appealing to international students. And I listed just a couple of the clubs there, like table tennis, cricket, and Premier League Watchers Club, because those really embody the international spirit of even a small student body like the one we have at Clarkson. And living in New York's North Country, that's what we call it, the North Country, can offer a unique opportunity to try out winter sports like skiing or even sledding. Undergraduate students at Clarkson are expected to live on campus, and it's mandatory to live on campus in the first year. There are living learning communities where you can explore interests that you might have with other students, such as gaming, women in science and engineering, in sustainability and things like that. Students can stay on break on campus, and if they research or have studies over the summer, they can stay then as well. It may interest you to know that right now with the coronavirus, many of our international students elected to stay on campus, and they're some of the only students on campus, but they're being taken very good care of, and meals are being delivered to them. They're very safe. And they were not sent away if they did not have somewhere else that they really wanted to or could go. So I'm going to transition now to the graduate programs, what many people call postgraduate programs, in the interest of time. These are the things I'm going to run through. And again, I'm going very quickly. So I hope that you'll contact my colleagues at Study Metro or reach out to us at Clarkson for any additional questions that you might have. And I will stay on the platform here to answer chat box questions once we're done. So at Clarkson, the graduate degrees fall into a few different categories: research, project, and coursework only. There are master's programs in all of those 3 categories. Of course, PhD programs fall in the research category. I can't possibly read this long list of programs that we offer in Potsdam. You can see that we have many of the same programs in engineering at a more advanced level. We have some health science programs that we don't have at the undergraduate level, like occupational therapy, physical therapy, and physician assistants. And then we have quite a number of science programs as well. On our Capital Region campus, there are also some programs that might be of interest to international students. I think specifically engineering and management systems, which is a 33 credit STEM degree, as well as for those interested in teaching. A Master of Arts in Teaching allows you to teach in New York State. In terms of admission requirements at the graduate level, we have an application form, and I'll be happy to pass along an application fee waiver code so that if you apply through Study Metro, you will not have an application fee from Clarkson University. You need to provide a statement of purpose, which some people call an essay. We need transcripts of all post-secondary education, so we don't need any high school or anything up through grade 12, only things that came afterward. So any certificates and diplomas and degrees. You must have a bachelor's degree in order to be eligible to study. Sometimes people ask about higher certificates from various countries, and we have to say no to that. But we do accept 3-year bachelor's degrees for admission at Clarkson. So if you have a 3-year degree, don't hesitate to apply, as long as it is a bachelor's, a completed bachelor's degree. We also require a resume or CV. Letters of recommendation typically are 3. In a couple of programs, it's only 2, but if you prepare to have 3 letters, you'll be fine. For test scores, we do require the same English proficiency exams and levels as at the undergraduate, and some programs require the GRE or the GMAT. One program will accept the Miller Analogies test as well. So on our website, you can see program by program what is required, but the science and engineering programs will require the GRE. Almost all would require it. In terms of the application process, you complete the application, upload everything. You don't need to send us hard copies of anything. We will take unofficial transcripts and unofficial test scores for the application review. Make sure you submit everything, and your application will be reviewed by a committee, so it can take a few weeks, and that means the hardest part of the whole process is waiting for your decision. Going back to the test scores, those are the English proficiency requirements, TOEFL, IELTS, PTE, and Duolingo. I have to apologize that I have the old Duolingo test score. They changed the scoring system a while ago. The current score that we require is 115 out of 160. As I said, the GRE is required by many programs, and there's no minimum required score, but the average scores for GRE are 148 verbal and 159 quantitative. So that just gives you an idea of what to shoot for and what the faculty might be expecting. For students interested in business programs, scores above 550 on the GMAT will put you into contention for a merit-based scholarship. In terms of deadlines, there are no formal deadlines for graduate programs. We follow a rolling admission process, and that means that your application will be reviewed as soon as it's complete. And as at the undergraduate level, we would still accept applications for fall 2020. If you're applying as a PhD student and you would be seeking a fully funded teaching or research assistantship, I have to say that most of those have already been awarded. But you can always defer your admission to a future semester if you're not offered funding for the fall. Most of the questions we get about funding your studies, that's, I have to say, probably the most common question. Pardon me, most fully funded offers do go to PhD students, but the decision is really based on the match between what you have to offer and what the department needs in terms of research or teaching. So really use your resume or CV to expand on those types of experiences that might make you a good fit. International students are also considered for scholarships and part-time type of opportunities. Education loans are also a popular source of funding, and Clarkson is on the list of approved universities for Empower, which provides educational loans. At the master's level, the funding that comes from Clarkson is more likely to be scholarship than to be an assistantship, for example. Students often ask about visas and documentation. After you are admitted, you must provide a certificate of finance, a form that you fill out for us, and that's when you give the bank statements in order to get your I-20. We are issuing I-20s currently for admitted students, so that students will have them when U.S. consulates open up. Pardon me. Currently, US consulates are closed and not issuing non-immigrant visas, but as soon as they open up again, our students will have their I-20s and be able to appear for their student visa interviews. Just a quick note about the current political climate in the US. I like to remind people that the government is not the same as everyday people who you might meet in class or at a store or at the doctor's office. Most people in the US are very supportive of international students. And in places like Potsdam, which we would call a college town, people are really proud of the fact that in our small area, we have students and scholars from all over the world who've chosen to come purely to study at Clarkson. It's a point of pride. And so I hope I have finished within my allotted time. And I would be happy to take any questions that people have about applying to Clarkson, studying at Clarkson, or any other matters that are on your mind.
Thank you so much, Colin. And Mr. Abbey would like to speak to you for a second.
Hey, Colin, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a very wonderful presentation, informative.
Fast. I tried to be fast.
And you were quick and it was on time, so I'm very happy about it. A lot of students come down for PhD option. I saw that you have PhD in electrical engineering, and in fact, your healthcare data analytics as well as engineering management. So I'm sure like couple of programs on the master's level must be requiring the GRE GMAT. But do you have any waivers looking at the situation? Because most of the other
because those
schools
exams are available in an at-home format, at present we are not offering blanket waivers. If a student wants to make a specific request for a waiver, of course, we will take that into consideration. And if students, for example, in our data analytics program, if a student has some significant work experience, the faculty will take that into consideration and make a decision on whether to offer a waiver. That's a program where one is more likely. In the engineering and management systems degree at the Capital Region campus, the GRE is not required. So for students who don't have one or can't get one in time, who might be from one of the 3 streams of engineering for that program, that might be the best fit. That engineering and management systems program is mechanical, electrical, and sort of computer science / IT. So those are the 3 streams. And I would really, if you don't have a GRE and you're more interested in a professional program than a research program, that would be a great fit.
Thank you so much. I just last question before I let you go. So you said that the IELTS requirement is 6.5 bins. And if looking at the engineering management, if a student is 6 pen, is it they gotta have 6.5 or sometimes they're also being considered?
6.5 is a requirement because that is what is published in our catalog. We can't just waive it. But then I might recommend the student take the Duolingo test, try the practice test once or twice, and then take it because it's not expensive. It's $49, which is much, much less than a TOEFL or IELTS.
So this brings us to the end of the webinar. I hope the information that you have gained today is going to be useful for you for making an application to the university. If you still have any question or any query about applying to the university, then you contact one of the study metro representative. Thank you so much again for joining this webinar. Have a good one.